Imagine walking down the street and noticing a small counter floating above every person's head. Not a timer for their phone, not a social media countdown, but the number of years, months, days, and perhaps even hours they had left to live. What would you do if you could see exactly how much time each person had remaining? It's a question that sparks a mixture of fascination, fear, and philosophical curiosity. On one hand, knowing someone's remaining time could offer clarity, urgency, and a chance to appreciate life differently. On the other hand, it could change human behavior in ways we may not anticipate, creating tension, anxiety, and moral dilemmas. The psychological impact. Seeing how much time someone had left would instantly alter how we view ourselves and others. For many, the knowledge could be liberating. People might choose to spend more time with loved ones, express unspoken feelings, and prioritize experiences over material wealth. Those facing a short countdown might focus intensely on what truly matters, making every day count in ways most of us rarely consider. But there's a darker side. For others, the awareness of limited time could be crushing. Anxiety, depression, and fatalism could skyrocket. Imagine constantly knowing that your lifespan is finite and seeing the same clock hovering over strangers, co-workers, friends, or even family members. The burden of living with such visible mortality might be overwhelming. Even mundane social interactions could become stressful, with every conversation shadowed by the looming knowledge of inevitable death. Humans are notoriously poor at grappling with uncertainty. Paradoxically, knowing the exact length of life could rob people of the comfort that ambiguity provides. In our current existence, the unpredictability of life allows us to plan, hope, and dream without facing a ticking clock. A visible timer might make every decision a moral or existential dilemma. Do you spend your last few months pursuing your dream career or investing in relationships? Do you warn a friend whose clock is alarmingly short or respect their ignorance, relationships, and society? The introduction of visible lifespans would completely transform social dynamics. Friendships, marriages, and professional relationships would be weighed against the ticking clocks above people's heads. Some bonds might deepen, while others could dissolve. Consider a romantic relationship. Would knowing a partner's remaining time bring urgency and deeper connection, or fear and avoidance? People might struggle with guilt, impatience, or obsession, measuring affection against an exact quantity of days. On a societal level, inequality might become even more pronounced. Imagine if the rich, privileged, and medically advanced had longer clocks, while marginalized communities had shorter ones due to systemic factors. Visible time would expose the disparities we already live with, but in an unignorable public way. Governments, corporations, and individuals might exploit or manipulate this knowledge, reinforcing hierarchies rather than dismantling them. Decision-making and risk. A world where time is visible would change the calculus of risk. Careers, investments, and daily choices would be measured not just in money or status, but in how much time one could afford to spend. People might take bolder risks, knowing their remaining time is limited, or become overly cautious, trying to stretch every second. Ethical questions would multiply. Should doctors intervene differently if a patient's timer showed only a few months left? Should parents see their children's countdown? Would knowing someone's impending death justify or condemn certain actions? Life and death decisions, already complex, would be magnified by this unrelenting visibility of mortality. The morality of knowledge. Is it morally right to see someone else's remaining time without their consent? This raises profound ethical questions. On one hand, transparency could foster empathy and responsibility. On the other hand, it could strip away privacy and autonomy. Imagine a world where your lifespan is publicly visible. Every failure, illness, or vulnerability exposed to the scrutiny of strangers. Would society become more compassionate or crueler, as people judge each other based on the length of life they have left. Even small interactions could carry moral weight. If you knew a stranger had only days left, would you offer kindness or withdraw from the discomfort? If you saw that a colleague had years ahead while your own time was short, would envy or despair creep in? Moral decisions, already nuanced and complicated, could become unbearable in their transparency. Work and productivity. A visible countdown would likely change how people approach work and productivity. In a world obsessed with measuring success, knowing exactly how much time you or your coworkers have left might create pressure to maximize every moment. Some might embrace this, achieving remarkable feats and living more fully. Others might burn out or collapse under the weight of urgency. Jobs and industries could be radically reshaped. Employers might prefer employees with longer clocks, creating new forms of discrimination and unfair advantage. Retirement, pensions, and insurance systems would be revolutionized or weaponized by the public visibility of lifespan. The ethical implications are staggering. Time, once an abstract concept, becomes a tangible resource that could be hoarded, measured, or exploited. The psychological bias of counting time. Humans interpret numbers emotionally, not rationally. Seeing a timer counting down could distort our perception of time itself. Days that feel short might loom larger, while years could feel meaningless. Paradoxically, seeing too much time left might breed complacency, while too little could lead to despair or reckless behavior. Research in psychology suggests that awareness of mortality changes behavior in subtle ways, a concept known as terror management theory. People who confront their own death often cling more tightly to beliefs, traditions, or material possessions. In a world where death is always visible, we might see extreme manifestations of these tendencies: obsessive planning, overzealous risk aversion, or radical lifestyle changes. The cultural shift. Literature, art, religion, and philosophy would all be transformed. Stories that explore the meaning of life, human imperfection, and mortality might take on new urgency. Rituals surrounding death would be reimagined, and religions might reinterpret doctrines to account for a world where everyone knows exactly when their time ends. Culturally, society might become more introspective, valuing time and human connection above all else, or more chaotic, as the inevitability of death sparks panic, hedonism, or moral nihilism. Imagine weddings, funerals, and graduations punctuated by visible countdowns, reminding participants of the fleeting nature of life. Every social event would carry a new emotional weight, reshaping human experience in ways we can only begin to imagine. Technology and time manipulation. If such a system existed, it might also drive advances in medicine and technology. People would invest in life, extending interventions, treatments, and experimental procedures to alter their clocks. The idea of cheating death would become more tangible, with the motivation fueled by publicly visible lifespan markers. However, technological manipulation would raise ethical concerns. Would extending life for some create new inequalities? Would society value longevity over quality of life? Would the pursuit of extra time lead to exploitation, conflict, or moral compromise? In a world obsessed with counting time, even the natural rhythms of life could become battlegrounds for human ambition, human connection, and empathy. Despite the potential horrors, visible lifespans could foster deeper empathy. Knowing the fragility of life might encourage forgiveness, kindness, and prioritization of meaningful relationships. Strangers might help one another more. Communities might organize to support those whose clocks are short, and the fleeting nature of life could inspire acts of courage, love, and generosity. Conversely, it could also breed cruelty and impatience. People might ostracize those whose time is dwindling, or treat the newly immortal with suspicion. Social hierarchies could become starkly defined by longevity, changing how humans perceive value, status, and morality. The philosophical implications. Ultimately, the idea of visible lifespans challenges our understanding of time, mortality, and what it means to live a good life. Death, currently an abstract inevitability, would become immediate and undeniable. Every choice would carry amplified weight, and existential questions would become unavoidable. Would knowing someone's exact lifespan make life more meaningful or more unbearable? Could society handle the psychological burden of transparent mortality, or would it collapse under the weight of fear and comparison? These questions touch on philosophy, ethics, and human nature, forcing us to consider how much of life's beauty lies in its uncertainty. The concept of seeing exactly how much time people have left is as fascinating as it is terrifying. It forces us to confront mortality in ways that we typically avoid. Such visibility would alter human behavior, relationships, work, morality, and society at large. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. It could deepen empathy, urgency, and purpose, but it could also create anxiety, cruelty, and exploitation. Perhaps the thought experiment is valuable precisely because it highlights the tension between awareness and ignorance. We already live with a countdown. Every second that passes moves us closer to the unknown, but we rarely perceive it so concretely. Life as it stands is finite and unpredictable. And while we may not see floating timers above our heads, we do have the power to act as if every moment matters, to love more deeply, forgive more freely, pursue what inspires us, and connect with those around us before the inevitable end comes for all. If this idea made you think, wonder, or even feel a little uneasy, remember, every moment counts. Don't wait for a timer to start living intentionally. Like, subscribe, and join us as we explore more ideas that challenge the way we think about life, time, and the human experience.